Hey there folks, hope you're all doing well. We're back with another Brotato class guide, this time for the Bull. Shout out to channel viewer Joseph who requested it. If there's a class you want to see, let me know. I'm definitely open to suggestions on which classes to cover next. So the Bull is a fascinating character because you get no weapons, but instead explode whenever you take damage for 3 times your melee, ranged, and elemental damage. All 3 count. You also get a ton of HP regen, and armor, and any HP regen that you buy is increased by 50%. So there's a couple things that are kind of obvious. This character looks a little straightforward, and a couple things that are not so obvious. I think this character isn't actually that straightforward. So first off, there's a couple stats that don't do anything for you. Lifesteal doesn't work with your explosions, range doesn't work with your explosions, and attack speed doesn't work at all because you don't attack. So none of those stats do anything. Critical hit chance does work. The explosions can crit, but they only crit for 1.5x as opposed to almost every other weapon, which crits for double damage. So critical hit chance is 50% as effective on you as it is on other characters. On the other hand, just all of your weapon attacks use 300% of your base damage, so you basically have triple damage compared to most characters' weapon attacks. That being said, because you only attack with 1 weapon at a time instead of 6, you effectively have half as much damage from flat damage or percentage damage as another character would. It works basically the same as the one-armed in that respect. You also gain more value from melee damage than from the other 2 damage types because you use all 3 equally, but melee damage is twice as cheap to buy. So typically you'll get twice as much melee damage for the same item or the same cost as you would the elemental or ranged damage. There's a couple other nuances to this character that I'll talk about when we get in, but let's just get going with the Bull. As always, if you're enjoying these videos, leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite color is or whatever. I hate, spamming all that crap, but YouTube really does use it to determine whether anybody actually gets to see your channel. Alright, so the very first thing is we've got harvesting, and I'm going to take that. We could take damage as well, but early harvesting is really good for this character. We're going to struggle in the mid-game to clear waves, so getting some harvesting going is really good. Here, we obviously want bag. Bag is a great item for everybody. And we will take plus melee damage, and I would take the duct tape for +1 armor, but I'm not going to lock it. I think we can get more value out of other stuff. One thing that we're going to be keeping an eye out for in our shops is alternate ways to heal in addition to our HP regeneration. Because we take kind of burst damage, it's actually pretty hard for us to keep up with HP. Also notice that we need help to kill this tree. We need an enemy to come over and help us kill the tree because we don't do any damage on our own. Here I'll take the +2 elemental damage. That's effectively +6 damage for us. And here we're going to get armor and HP regen, so I'm going to lock in this armor. Actually, again, I'm not going to lock it just because the minus speed is a real penalty, and again, I think we can get better stuff in future shops. But as I was saying, we will need an alternate way to heal because our HP regen doesn't heal us in a burst, and we tend to take large bursts of damage. So we're going to need something like consumable heal or the cute monkeys that heal when you pick up materials. I really like having consumable heal and luck on this character because if you wade into a big pile of enemies and have high luck, they'll generate a lot of consumables, and then the bonus healing from consumables works really well. Here I will roll once. I'm hoping to hit a level 2 thing, and we did, so we can take the +2 range damage. That's great. And then here I'll take more max HP, because max HP is great for this character. Even though it reduces our HP regeneration more than it reduces other characters' HP regeneration, Broken Mouth is still just a really efficient item, and you need max HP. So we're going to take this, and we're going to take this, and I'll lock injection as well, because 7% damage is really good. Something to keep in mind on this character also is that we actually do want to build dodge, and you might be thinking, why would you build dodge? You need to take damage to do damage. The reason is that dodge is a very efficient way of increasing your effective maximum HP, and also if you have dodge, you can sort of wade into a big group of enemies, dodge the first couple of attacks, and then kill them all with a single explosion instead of having to take multiple attacks to do the same amount of damage. And one thing you'll see me doing is trying to group enemies on top of each other so we hit the most with a single explosion, and thus only have to take one hit to kill many enemies. HP from consumables is great, that's a perfect stat for us, and here I'll just take the elemental damage. Metal is another item that is excellent for us. Like I said, crit chance is worse on this character than on other characters, and I'll take the bonus damage. I'm going to roll once here, and Insanity is pretty bad on us, because like I said, crit chance is half as good on this character as it is on other characters. On the other hand, 2 elemental damage is not bad, but I think none of this is good enough to lock, so we're going to go on to the next shop. Something else I'd like to pick up more of early is just a little more harvesting. Bonus trees are good on every character, but since we intend to do a lot of our healing with consumables, the bonus trees will be really good for this character especially. Notice that as we take like a bunch of hits all in a row, it's actually pretty hard for our HP regen to keep up. But when you get down towards the end of a wave, you can take a bunch of hits in a row. Here, I'm going to roll this. I don't think we want crit chance, and none of the other things are good. I will take the 6% dodge. Getting that high is really nice early, and I'll take HP regeneration here. Charcoal is an item that's very good for this character, of course, because it's effectively 9 flat damage. Since all your flat damage is multiplied by 3, you do lose 2 harvesting, and while we do want harvesting, I think it's still really good to pick that up. So we're going to grab this, and then roll. And Gentle Alien is just as good for this character as it is for every character, of course, so we're grabbing that, and then I will lock in the Lemonade as well. Gonna try to pull all these enemies together where I can hit them all with single explosions. Make sure to get the tree. Having 12 dodge already is pretty nice, especially because there are some items that we want that do decrease our dodge. And basically, you can think of 12% dodge as increasing your effective maximum HP by 12%. As you can see, we're definitely having a little bit of trouble with income. Here I'm going to pick up this luck because we want to get our luck positive, and it's early enough that Tractor is an excellent pickup. Really glad to have seen that, so we'll grab that, and I will take the damage. Head injury is an item to keep an eye out for on this character because 6% damage is really good, and minus range doesn't affect you at all. Now we need to increase our damage, because you saw there it took me 2 explosions to kill something, and you never ever want it to take you 2 explosions to kill something, especially not normal enemies on this character. Obviously the like big guys it can take more explosions for, but we have to be really aggressive with making sure our damage keeps up with the wave. True on every character, especially true for the bull. Starting to suffer and healing a little bit. Grab that consumable and then step over here. One thing that I like to do on this character is keep an eye on my health in the top left in the health bar. It lets me just keep track of it more easily than having to look for my health bar in the big pile of enemies. We'll grab this +6 melee damage. That's amazing. That increases our effective damage by a ton. And then here I could grab elemental damage. I could also increase my harvesting. I'm actually going to get 10 harvesting. It's early enough that I think that will pay for itself very quickly. Bag, of course, great still. Even though we've only gained 15 materials from it, it's still just a really good item that will pay for itself pretty quickly. We'll get this. Fuel tank is effectively +2 damage for us. Is that worth 80? I would say so. You could maybe choose not to buy that there. Shackles is basically just HP regeneration, and it will cap our speed at +1. I think that's still worth locking. 8 HP regeneration for 135 is pretty good, and we can grab that. Even though I do want harvesting, I'm not going to take the little frog, though, because we'd like to build our dodge up. But I will take the Scar. Scar, typically, I would say, is not a good item to buy, but this character kind of suffers from not having enough XP a lot of the time. This is a wave that's really annoying because the enemies all take multiple hits, and there aren't a lot of the little enemies that you can use to trigger your explosions with. So we're going to have a really hard time, like, clearing a lot of this wave. So notice how the dodge is letting me get into these big groups of enemies without taking damage, and then I get to kill them all with a single explosion. Next thing we need is more luck so that we generate more consumables. And obviously more damage, we always need that. And the other big thing that we're going to need is just more HP regeneration and armor. Alright, here we will take some max HP. And over here, just a bunch of items that don't really do anything, but I'll take this regeneration, even more regeneration. We're now at 1 HP, at 5 HP a second, which is really nice, and we can grab this fuel tank, which does increase our effective damage by just a little bit. This wave should, in theory, be really easy for the bull. If you're struggling on this wave, something's wrong with your build, because these guys all do small amounts of damage, and so you should be able to tank through it while killing them very quickly. And if you are having issues but you think your build is good, try running in these spirals and pull them all on top of each other so you can kill a bunch with only a single explosion. Just gonna back off for a second, let my health regenerate. Step down here, pull them all onto each other, and then we get to clear out a whole bunch of them. See how each of these pods is generating at least one consumable, so we get to maintain our HP even though we are tanking through a bunch of enemies. And that's a great wave for us. We get a ton of money here. I will lose 4% dodge for the for 8 max HP. We definitely want to raise our max HP, and then I can get that dodge back just like that. And then here I'm going to grab this luck. Luck is basically a healing stat for us, as well as having all the effects that it normally has. -1 armor for 16 harvesting on wave 9 for the wheelbarrow. I do think that is worth it. And we'll grab that, and we'll grab this. I could take 2 range damage for 100, but I think scope you pay a little too much. Plus 10% enemies is often worth it just in and of itself, but we don't use any of the other stats. Like, we don't use the lifesteal at all. Here, I will take Crown. I think that will pay for itself pretty quickly. And then I'm going to grab the Defective Steroids. This is another item that's purpose-made for this character. The downside doesn't matter at all, and both of the stats are really good for you. We could try to repair our crit chance back to positive. I will take Mastery because it's damage positive, so that's 3 damage for 100, basically. And then I think I'm not going to bother with the sunglasses. Let's roll and look for more items. Wow, okay, so we got the single best item for this character and have exactly enough to purchase it. The blood donation is amazing because harvesting's obviously really good. We talked about why. But when you take 1 damage per second, which doesn't give invulnerability time, that doesn't matter, you explode every second. That lets you trigger your explosion without actually taking damage from an enemy. So you basically trigger the explosion in exchange for 1 health, as opposed to losing 10 or 15 health like you would if you got hit by an enemy. So, great find, basically the best we could have gotten. I'm going to not lock the Lumberjack shirt, we should be one-shotting trees anyways, and elemental damage and max HP. For max HP, that's a decent deal again, but not worth locking here. So notice that we are now exploding once every second, so I can basically just play this like a melee character and kind of stand near these enemies. Of course, we can still play like the bull normally plays and tank if we want more DPS. This also gives us a much better way to clear elites because we can stay near them instead of having to stand on top of them to damage them. Oh, let's definitely get this crate, the loot alien. Sick. Another item that's really good on everybody, but especially worth keeping an eye out for on this character is the lure that spawns loot aliens. Let me step through this. We'll take a bunch of damage, but get to clear out a ton of enemies there. And then with 5 seconds remaining, we're gonna do some chase down the loot alien, who I saw at the last possible second. Minus 10% enemies, I think is still just not worth taking with the candle. You always want more enemies, so we're gonna recycle that. I think you should just basically never take candle, except on a few very specific characters. More armor is something we were definitely looking for, so I'm very happy to see that. And more luck and more damage are both really nice. I think I'm going to try to get up to about 40 luck and then switch over to picking up percentage damage, but that could easily be a mistake. This is a great shop for us because we have positive speed, so we can afford to lose a little bit of speed for a little more flat damage. And HP and HP regeneration are great, so even though we lose 8 luck, the alien magic is really good for us. I will still take the fuel tank, 2 damage for 95. I think that's still worth it, and then we can roll through here. We're losing a little bit of speed, but 3 armor and 5 HP is really good. We'll try to repair our speed shortly. That said, I'm going to start with the metal detector because it pays for itself very quickly. So we can just stay just a little ways away from this guy and tick them with our explosions. Another thing, of course, to keep an eye out for on this character are explosion damage, and especially explosion radius are super powerful on this character. Those do work, unlike range. So the 15% explosion damage is just plus 15% damage for you. And the 25% explosion range item is hugely increases the effective AoE of your attacks. 25, adding 25% to the radius increases the area of the circle massively, so it's a bigger bonus than it sounds like. Alright, up to 600 cash here. So I'm going to grab this speed to get our speed back into the positives, because we know that we are taking something that decreases our speed next round. And we'll do that. Bait is really good for us. We don't really care about spawning the loot, the lamprey aliens, so we'll take that. And here again, 2 damage for 100 is mostly worth it. Another item that is custom made for us is the little muscly dude, because we don't care about losing range at all. The dangerous bunny will pay for itself, and the goat skull, we don't need crit chance, so another great item for us. Do I want this for minus dodge? I'd like to build my dodge up, but I think it's still worth taking. And then over here, we can roll into this. I'm going to lock the recycling machine. I've actually come around completely on this item. It pays for itself pretty quickly if you're getting enough crates. And we've got 24 luck. We should be getting more crates pretty quickly overall, so we should definitely get good value out of the recycling machine. I know I've said in previous videos that it doesn't pay for itself. I was wrong because I wasn't considering that you can recycle the items that you pick up in crates and often do. Wave 12 should be a good wave for us. This is a horde wave, so we should be able to get a lot of money from it. I'm going to do a little bit of dodging just to try to avoid taking too much damage here. And then we'll step back through, tank a lot, but that should generate enough consumables that we heal back up, because we've stacked up enough enemies that we can use the consumable heal to keep us alive. Making sure to keep my health, like, in around the the 30s and 40s just to make sure that that works. And so here, like for example, if we had the recycling machine, this would be recycling for like 150 or something like that, 130, because normally they recycle for 25%, and that adds 35% on top of that, and it's not 35% of the recycling amount, it's 35% of the total value of the item, so that would be an extra like 75 here. Here, I'm just going to grab damage. Our percent damage is a little low, so if we increase that enough, then we will be in really good shape. Ranged damage, we could use some more of that, so let's grab that, because the negative range damage was being tripled. And then here, we'll grab probably all of these items. Yep. Roll that. Community support, normally a very good item, but obviously we don't use attack speed. And then the weird ghost, also an item that I like a lot on most characters, but we have the blood donation. And I'm not actually certain where the tick happens in, like, will our regeneration save us if we have this much HP regeneration, but also a blood donation? Does it tick immediately when we start the wave and kill us instantly? I don't want to find out, so we're not going to buy that. Cute Monkey is great for healing. It gives us quite a bit of extra healing, so even though we lose some damage, it's definitely worth picking up. And then over here, we've got another pile of things that were just made for this character. Plastic Explosive, one of the best items we could find, of course. And then we'll take more damage and lock in both of these. We do want to increase our armor, but I'd like to get my dodge up to 60 next. That's sort of our next project for this character, because our damage is looking pretty good. Hitting for 200. Next thing we could also do is start hitting some crit chance. Because if we got a decent crit chance, that would increase our effective damage by quite a lot. Even at only plus 50%, now that we're hitting for 200, every crit we get is an extra 100 damage. So every percentage point of crit chance is basically 1 damage. I stepped in a lot of those attacks, so taking a little too much in the way of damage here. Let's back off for a second and heal up. Let me tank a ton of damage to go grab that crate, though. These laser tentacles are definitely annoying because they can hit you when you're trying to move around to get to other enemies. This is one of the characters that these guys are hardest for. Cyclops Worm, another item that is totally made for this character. You get percentage damage and lose a stat you don't care about at all. And then we're going to start getting our dodge up, like I talked about. And then regeneration and percent dodge is all great. Let's roll. More trees is great. Fairy is really good. We have no tier 4 items, and currently we have, this is plus 18 regeneration. Our regeneration does start to fall off the more of it we stack, because it scales negatively with itself, but we still just want tons of it. We'll take 2 more damage, because why not? And then here I am going to start taking the helmets. We lose a little bit of speed, but armor is something that we really want. Also, I'm going to lock in these 2 items because they're super good for us. Even though this is minus 3 regeneration, we've got 91. I think we'll be okay. So it looks like I was noticing that the tick happened, the blood donation tick did happen 1 second into the level. So I think I could have taken the alien that reduces our health to 1. I don't know how eager I am to test that in practice even still, but if you are feeling brave, you can try it out yourself and let me know if it works. If you have high health regeneration and blood donation, then take the item that reduces your health to 1 in the next wave. Do you just die instantly? Or does the regeneration save you? Just taking tons of damage here, but our regeneration and stuff is so high, and now we've got a lot of dodge and high max health, so that increases our health by a lot. I will accept this minus 4% dodge because we're going to get our dodge up soon. And here we go, 9% dodge. And I'll take both of these. We'll take some more of this. We'll roll. Power generator, unfortunately, doesn't do anything for us because we aren't going to have high speed since we capped our speed. Here I will take the lure, of course, because that's extra units, extra loot, and HP regeneration is good for us. I think I will go up to 70% luck in exchange for minus damage, and we'll take the Bean Teacher as well, even though it's wave 14. We don't use lifesteal at all, so that will help us get a few more levels before the end of the game. Tardigrade is an item that doesn't do anything here, of course, but Metal Plate is really good, so we'll grab that. I'm not going to take more minus damage for luck, though. The Tardigrade would get knocked off immediately by the first blood donation tick, but that's also an item that is useless for this character because you have to take damage in order to attack. So you're going to lose that immediately, basically, no matter what you do. I didn't check when our first Elite Wave is. Elite Waves are typically tricky for this character because your overall DPS is pretty low. You rely on one-shotting enemies in large damage instances rather than having high sustained damage. This version has high enough health regeneration and consumable heal that we can tank through most things that the enemies are throwing at us. So an Elite Wave should be relatively easy for this build to clear, but don't be surprised if when you're playing the Bull you have to just dodge around Elites. Also notice how good the explosion radius is for us. We're killing so many more enemies with every single explosion. Great, more damage, and here I am going to start trying to repair my crit chance back positive, so we'll take this, and then I'll just take the 15 luck because it's still pretty good. Alien Eyes is worth mentioning on this character as a way to deal damage that doesn't require you to be next to an enemy. But here I think we are not going to go for it. I also don't need any more harvesting. We could take the 8 health regeneration and start waves with minus 50%. We'll heal that back up very quickly, so I think that's worth doing. We'll grab all of these for extra damage. I will lose out on some health regeneration for more luck, but first we're getting the medal because we get all the stats we want. Does reduce our crit chance, but that's okay. Harvesting at 264 at this point. We're healing our health back up to full very quickly. So starting at half health isn't a huge penalty. I would say this is a better version of the Bull than you're usually going to get. Like this build has come together with pretty good luck. But you obviously don't have to be quite this overpowered in order to win. The Bull's very winnable, even without the damage items, the items that damage you. When I was doing my sort of practice run that I do before writing these guides, I didn't get a blood donation or anything along those lines, and it was still fairly easy. Come on, loot aliens. We just want more crates. Alright, I am starting to take a lot of damage now, so I need to watch my health. The Alien Eyes, when it's free, I'll take it. And then here, I'll actually just take armor. Armor, I think, is going to be one of the things that helps us the most. And dodge here as well. I'll continue to take metal detectors, because we do use the luck, and they'll pay for itself. It'll pay for itself, I think, fairly quickly. And then here, +3 melee damage for minus luck. I don't think that is worth it. We can do better. We'll grab this Cyclops Worm, which is indeed better. And I'll go down to -2% speed for a little more armor. Head injury is great. Lure is great. And Insanity, we're I guess, going to try to repair our crit chance. So I'll take this. One more roll. We could get a second blood donation. These don't make you have twice as many explosions, so if you are lucky enough to see a second blood donation, I don't recommend actually picking it up. It's basically just 40 harvesting, but makes you take 2 damage a second, which actually does add up. Here, I'll take the gambling token, though, and get our dodge pretty high. One thing I want to check at the end of this wave is whether the recycling machine paid for itself, or the end of this run. Because I'm trying to check whether my intuition that it will pay for itself just based on recycling crate items is right or not. I at first thought it wouldn't be good, now I think maybe that item is good, so I just want to check that out so I can evaluate it accurately in future. Come here, loot man. It's also nice that we have the blood donation so we can actually kill trees without the help of any aliens. There should be another loot alien around here somewhere. Where'd the other one go? Oh, okay, there's just a chest on the ground. 3% dodge for minus 4% damage. I don't think that's worth it. We'll recycle it. The wheelbarrow, will that pay for itself by the end of the wave? No, it won't. Just 70 cash right away is going to be good. Max HP we don't need. I could get my dodge up to almost 60, so we'll do that. Even though I do want crit chance for extra damage as well, having my dodge be up to 58 is really good here. The weird ghost, we're still not going to take it, but I will take the energy bracelet. It's 4 crit chance, basically for no downside, like no upside, but no downside. So it's an expensive way to buy crit chance, but that's one of the more efficient ways for us to increase our damage at this point. Still not going to take the alien baby here. I think being able to dodge enemies is still really important, even though we have tons of defensive stats. I recommend not taking this item because it just makes enemies catch up to you so much more easily. We'll take the metal, of course, even though it reduces crit chance. Metal is just too good an item to pass up. Coffee is an item that on almost every character is incredible, but on this character in particular is not. Wisdom, I think we shouldn't take, because you typically want to try to clear the wave early. -1 armor for 10 crit chance. I think I will take that. And then I actually am going to invest 80 in 30% pickup range, because I've been noticing that we are sometimes outpacing the drops of consumables, and so we want to make sure that we're always getting those. Slow enemy speed for slow our speed is always good, I would say, so I'm going to take the snail here. We can repair our speed later. And this, while it makes us worse at dodging projectiles, it makes us better at dodging elites, which is what we are going to see now. This elite shouldn't be too difficult for us. We can just kite him around in a circle. And because we have high dodge chance and so on, we have enough damage to take him out. He charged away. We have enough HP regeneration to do the damage to take him out. Like, we've got high dodge chance, so we can stand right on him without really worrying about it. And the big thing for killing elites is you need to make sure you're staying next to them without having your HP start to suffer too badly. Come on, get back here. That was a little bit closer than I'd have liked to not finishing him before the end of the wave, but we got him. And we get this one, we lose speed. I'm not going to take that, we'll recycle it, but the gentle alien we will definitely take, and we can start increasing our crit chance a little bit more. Here I'm going to go with 8+8 melee damage. For one thing, it's a level 4 upgrade, and for another, that's just a ton of extra damage for us. Lure, great. Crit chance and dodge for no penalty, great. Blindfold is another item that you will typically end up buying a lot on this character because it has 2 stats that you really like, or 1 stat you really like, 1 stat you like, and no penalty. Heal from consumables, of course. We are going to lose a little bit more speed to grab this armor and max HP, and then do I want to go down to -9% speed with the campfire? That's a little risky, but we should be able to just hard roll on our level up next level for more speed. So I'm going to do that. I don't recommend, like I said, taking Alien Worm, even though it's a lot of stats you want, because consumable heal is actually really important on this character. But we'll grab this and this. And I'm going to roll once just to see if we get a speed item. We didn't, but we got 2 items that we really love. Explosion damage, of course, this is just plus 15% damage for us overall, and HP regeneration is doubled when you have less than 50% health. This will increase our HP regeneration to 20 a second. So regeneration potion is another one of the items you should really be looking out for. So notice that our normal attacks are for 400, our crits are for 600, because we get plus 50% crit damage. So every point of critical hit chance we get effectively at this point is worth 2 damage on every attack. Plus a little bit, because it's actually 662, but you know, for the sake of simplification. Hunted down one loot alien there. Feels so satisfying to just blow all these guys up. Our damage is really high. Come on, where's the other loot alien? Oh, there's 2 of them. Can we get them both? Yeah. And do we get a chest from this tree? No. Boom. All right, and we're up to 1,200 cash because we just cleared that wave really quick. Let's recycle this. I no longer feel like I need to look to see if the recycling machine has paid for itself. We've recycled a bunch of items and gotten so much money out of it. So definitely, I was wrong in my previous videos. Buy the recycling machine. The Schmoop, we would lose 3 damage, which is effectively 9 damage on every attack for us, multiplied by all our percentage increases. But we do get max HP and regeneration. I think it's still worth taking. This is worth taking because it's 2 damage. And then here, I'm going to go with just some more crit chance. Get that up a little bit. Oh no, I was going to roll for speed. Alright, well, hopefully we find something that gives speed in this shop. We don't need the gambling token because we're already dodge capped. Here, I'll just grab this for more damage. Nothing here. Chance to heal when dodging an attack. Sure, I'll take that. And then we're going to keep looking. Looks like we won't get any speed, but I'm going to just keep increasing my damage and HP, and that should be good enough. We could grab the Pocket Factory for the last wave, or I could just get a little bit of armor in exchange for minus HP. More armor is definitely good. Let's play this safe, and because nothing else we won't be able to buy anything else, let's just get this pickup range. That could maybe help us picking up some consumables. So with these guys, you want to stack them and stay a little bit offset from them, where they're not hitting you but other stuff is, so that you can use that to damage them. And unlike most classes, because you do all your damage in area of effect next to you, you actually want to stack the bosses rather than trying to separate them. Come back. Let me destroy you. And there we go. So yeah, so that's the bull. I think this character is really fun, and there's a lot of different ways that you can try to make it work, but the one that I have found best is to stack its natural strengths and then also go with consumable heal and luck, and that will give you quite a lot of bonus healing throughout the course of the run. Even though it has a ton of regeneration naturally, having the consumable heal really helps keep you alive when the waves start to get tricky. Anyways, hope you enjoyed that, my friends, and as always, if you have liked this, leave a comment to please the algorithm, and subscribe to my channel for more of this and other strategy game content. Cheers, folks. GG.